Hello, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to News Talk with yours truly, Chris Anu, coming to you from the great state of Texas, precisely Houston, Texas. Thank you for tuning in tonight. For those of you watching by satellite television from all of Africa, it's a pleasure to be with you tonight. And for those of you joining by way of the social media, that is YouTube and Facebook, thank you. Thank you for tuning in tonight. This promises to be very, very exciting. And as usual, please I ask you to go ahead, hit your share button. If you are watching by way of the social media, and if you are watching by way of YouTube, please hit the like and the subscribe button, and also send out the link for others to know that the anchor man is live. He is live. Again, this promises to be very, very exciting tonight. I will be having a very exclusive interview into some of the revelations of what goes on within the walls of the so-called Unity Palace in La République du Cameroon. So please go ahead, hit your share button, and let us get the platform completely filled up. I want to see on YouTube and Facebook combined at least 2,000 people live watching tonight. So please, in a few seconds, I will be right back. Stay tuned.
ABS can help you reach your target audience like never before. Advertising on ABS, you'll benefit from our extensive reach and dedicated viewership. We offer special advertising packages during primetime slots and popular shows. You'll also be featured on our social media platforms, reaching an even wider audience. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Take your business to the next level. Contact our advertising team at absafricatv@gmail.com. ABS can help you reach your target audience like never before. Advertising on ABS, you'll benefit from our extensive reach and dedicated viewership. We offer special advertising packages during primetime slots and popular shows. You'll also be featured on our social media platforms, reaching an even wider audience. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Take your business to the next level.
All right, thanks for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. Again, tonight we're going to be having a very exclusive interview with somebody who has been within the ranks and the fold of the operations in Yaoundé. He is going to tell us exactly how Yaoundé operates and why Cameroon finds itself in the quagmire that it is today, politically, economically, and socially. I will also open the phone lines, of course, to take your calls, and we are also monitoring what is happening in Issa Chiroma's camp. I am talking about the declaration of Ghost Town beginning Monday through Thursday, happening every week in Cameroon beginning next week. That is what we are told is happening. We're going to be discussing all of this and again taking your phone calls. Right now, I will take you into my monologue for the day, ladies and gentlemen, so I can dive straight into that interview. And again, this has to do with a very special guest that I bring to you tonight. He has a lot to reveal to us tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So let me head straight to my talking point for the day. Please give us a second. Let's get one or two things right here before we get back to the monologue. Stay put. Gentlemen, again, I take you into my monologue of the day that is titled, The Faces Behind the Mask. The Faces Behind the Mask. Talking about what is going on in Cameroon today. Tonight, we peel back the masquerade of stability and progress in Cameroon and confront, without flinching, the grim reality that for over 4 decades, 42 years to be precise, the regime in Yaoundé has failed its citizens. Basic services that any functioning government must provide or supply, like the long-promised farm-to-market roads, clean water flowing from taps, reliable electricity and hospitals, health centers that heal and classrooms that educate, they have remained largely out of reach. In their place, we find flickering lights, dry taps, dilapidated roads, health centers and schools that crumble under the weight of neglect. All of this happens under the long reign of a man who, one might say, doesn't even know himself as leader of the country. He is surrounded, Paul Biya is surrounded by a court of long-necked gatekeepers, entrenched looters, whose youthful vigor is now devoted entirely to preserving decades of accumulated loot. My guest tonight, someone who until recently could be said to be a facilitator within those same ranks of destruction, wants to tell it like it has never been told before what happens behind closed doors in Yaoundé. His name is Ben Modo from Cameroon Central Region. He has been the contractor, the lobbyist, and the intermediary. He has represented those who rule, transacted with them, done business with them, profited alongside them, until conscience or disillusionment drove him to break ranks. He witnessed the rackets, the huge deals and the protective ring built around the regime. When in May, the old players resurfaced, led by Ferdinand Ngongo, Chantal Biya at the fore, touting the candidacy of Paul Biya for the last election, Ben Modo told them plainly, you must shelve this idea. They would not listen though. Modo saw clearly that this was no longer about governance but about protecting power, guarding personal fortunes, maintaining a system of official neglect, so those who serve the regime can serve themselves. This monologue invites you to listen to those who have been abandoned by a state, and to one man who lived the inside track and now says enough is enough. 42 years of rule. And what do Cameroonians have to show for it? Look at the waterless taps in the homes of ordinary Cameroonians, the darkness of blackouts in hospitals. The children turn away from classrooms because the roof leaks or don't exist at all, because the benches are broken, because the teacher never showed up. I hear the silence of the neglect. The regime in Yaoundé has spoken of stability, of progress. But I ask you tonight, where is that progress? When electricity is a luxury, when you pay a bribe just to access a classroom, When a village lacks running water, why those at the top pattern their lives on fleets of Range Rovers and luxury villas? The government creates schools, then pass the responsibility of building the classrooms, recruitment and payment of teachers to the PTA organizations. At the same time, thousands of ENS graduate teachers waiting to be posted. Talking about incompetency here, ladies and gentlemen. Much of this stems from a regime built not on service, but on obedience, not on accountability, but on protection of self and of inner circles. The man at the top, Paul Biya, is said to lead, yet he is surrounded by operatives whose sole purpose is to maintain the system of loot. Ferdinand Ngongo, Chantal Biya, Atanganji, and others. These names circle like vultures guarding their nest of plunder. They emerge when it's time to remind the president of his continuity. They emerge when campaigns must be layered in ritual. They manage the unspoken order. We take, we protect, we do not question. All the while the citizen is left gasping for water, light, roads, healthcare, and schooling. Ben Mondo was once part of this. He negotiated, he lobbied, he delivered, but he also observed. He observed how tenders were inflated, how contracts were handed to favorites, how nothing was built on timetables, how excuses piled up. He watched the regime's inner chambers, saw how figures celebrated by the public were the same figures busy stealing in plain view, safe behind the shield of state secret and national security. Ben Modo saw how the agenda was not service but safeguarding the decades-long accumulation of wealth among a tiny circle within the regime. So long as the taps are dry, the lights intermittent, the schools and the roads crumbling, it doesn't matter to this class of people, because the goal isn't water, isn't roads, isn't electricity, isn't education. It is the continuation of power, the continuation of looting. Imagine the brazen logic with a man who cannot lead, who does not even know himself as the leader of a nation bent on uplifting its people, is declared president for life, in all but name, surrounded by yes men and enablers, each with their long necks stretching to reach deep into the national treasury, stretching to shield each other from scrutiny, stretching to maintain their hideaway accounts. All, ladies and gentlemen, while the citizens suffer. The hospitals go without medicines. The water remains broken. The power grid remains fragile. Why? Why? Because the resources are not for the people, they are for them. The regime functions as a racket, masquerading as governance. And yet, when May came, talking of last May, the same actors resurfaced. Chantal Biya publicly backing Biya's candidacy, Atanganji mobilizing the machinery, Ferdinand Ngongo pulling strings behind closed doors. And Ben Modo, my guest tonight, the former insider, I would say, told them, no shelf the idea. You cannot continue this charade. But they would not listen. Their interest was not in the future of Cameroon. It was in protecting their past. They believe the man whose name they carry still guarantees impunity. They believe the system must stay in place because it protects them. So, Ben Modo joins me tonight to expose the mechanics of the regime, to name the men who run the show behind the scenes, to recount how contracts are awarded, how services remain undone, how the pipeline from the national treasury to private bank accounts flows unchecked. You will show how the sickness of neglect, ladies and gentlemen, the sickness of neglect is intentional. How the absence of water and electricity is baked into the regime, because to truly serve the people would threaten the looting. You will describe the inner circles where loyalty trumps competence, where fear silences dissent, and where the illusion of leadership covers the reality of ruin. You must hear this. You must hear this. Because silence is the accomplice of destruction. When the taps run dry, when the lights go out, when the classrooms close, those left behind are the citizens. They pay the cops. The man who cannot lead, the long-necked looters who protect him, they pay nothing, zero. They stroll the halls of power unconstrained. They guard their decades of loot while the country stagnates, while the children of the nation wait for a future that keeps being promised and never delivered. This isn't only about blame, ladies and gentlemen. It's about understanding what goes on within the circus, understanding how you were failed and by whom. To see through the pomp and pageantry to the rot, to realize that when the faucet is dry, when the generator fails, when the school closes, you were not unlucky or forgotten at random. You were being served up. You were being served up as part of the plan. Because when you suffer, they thrive. I invite you to hear the truth, uncomfortable though it may be. I invite you to ask, why has it been 42 years? Why is the regime incapable of providing what every other country around provides its people? Who is benefiting? And do Cameroonians continue to accept it? Because knowing is the first step. Then comes resistance. Then comes demand. Then finally comes change. So welcome Ben Mondo to the microphone. The man who once served the regime now exposes it. May his words be sharp. May our ears be open. And may the years of neglect and misdeed finally meet scrutiny under the bright lights they tried so long to avoid. And that is my monologue, ladies and gentlemen. Before I bring in my guest here tonight, I'd like to show you something here, and I want you to understand it is not for you to be able to get a contract in Cameroon. Of course, you have to be one who understands the system. You got to understand the system before you can get a contract in that country. You got to know somebody, or yourself got to be an insider. What you are looking at here is the stadium in Garoua. This stadium was constructed by my guest. He took the contract. He got the contract for this stadium. He built this stadium on the eve of the African Cup of Nations in La République du Cameroon, I think 2 or 3 years ago. So we are talking here of somebody who understands the system, who has been to the presidency, who speaks with Chantal, with Paul Biya, with Ngongo, and you can name the rest. He is not just somebody, but more so, he comes from Yaoundé, from the central region. He is not Ambazonian or Southern Cameroonian or Bamileki or Bassa or Hausa. He is from the region where these looters come from, and he is here to tell us what goes on behind the scenes. So, Ben, it's a great pleasure to have you joining me here, sir.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
Wonderful. Please, let's get right into this, because we're going to do this in a very surgical manner so that the audience can understand what we are talking about. You built this stadium in Yaoundé, in Garoua, I guess. Did you build other stadiums in preparation for the African Cup of Nations, or this was the other one you worked on?
So we worked on four stadiums and 2 hotels, all of them in the city of Garoua. So that was the scope.
And by the way, is this what they used to call Amadou Ahidjo Stadium, or it was entirely new one?
Those were entirely new ones.
Okay. And you worked.
We renovated the Benue Hotel. The work there is not completed. And then we built a new hotel. We call it, it's going to be a presidential hotel. That too is not completed.
So the work is not completed. When is it going to be completed?
Well, when the state of Cameroon will want it to be completed. Because what's happening is, if you hire someone to do work in your place, and you guys agree on a schedule of payments, when the person is 20% complete, you have to pay 20% of the contract. When the person is 50% complete, you have to pay 50% of the contract. So now, if the person is 20% complete, and the time comes for you to pay the 20% that was agreed, and you spend 1 year to make that 20% payment, you understand that work is never going to be completed on time.
Yeah.
We have to wait for when you are ready to pay in order for us to continue work. That's what's been happening over there. And that's the reason why so many projects in Cameroon do not get completed on time. You saw it. There is a highway. It's supposed to be a beltway around Yaoundé, and that project has been going on for 12 years now. This is a project that was supposed to be completed in a matter of months, but simply because funding is not done as agreed, the work is not completed. You see the route, the highway from Yaoundé, connecting Yaoundé to Douala.
Yeah.
It's been 7 years now, and in 7 years, they've only completed 1/3 of the project. But why? Because the Cameroonian government is not doing things the way they should.
Hold on there, Ben. Let me take you back. Now, you come from the central region. Precisely, what's the name of the town?
So my father's hometown is Monatele.
Monatele, okay.
Yeah,
Is Biya not from there? Is that not where Biya comes from?
No, he comes from the South region.
The South region, right.
Yeah.
So you come from Monatele, and your mother came, your father comes from Monatele, and
my mother comes from Obala. So I'm what is called in Cameroon an Etonman.
Yeah. So tell me, for how long Because I know we had a very good discussion yesterday, and you told me a lot.
Mhm.
You live in the USA. You've been there for quite a long time, but you've
That's correct.
also worked with the government. In fact, you told me you were a lobbyist. They contracted you to be a lobbyist. You worked as a lobbyist for them here in the US at a point in time. Since when did you start working for the government in Yaoundé?
So I helped the government uh, in a few things. I may not be at, I may not be free to discuss those things
I get
because
that if you are not free to discuss that.
those
Yeah, I
are
understand
contracts.
that.
And so, but what is important is we worked together for a few years. We've been doing this for a number of years, 12 years now.
12
Uh,
years now, okay?
yeah. So we helped Cameroon, as much as we could. That's what I would say when it comes to that.
Yeah.
And then because I also have a construction company, so I propose services of that construction company to Cameroonian authorities, and that's how we started working on those projects. For the construction side, though, this was an effort because you said it during your monologue that the way the contracting thing is done in Cameroon, it's really fishy. So knowing that it was so difficult to have a fair competition, what we did was we went through the U.S. Advocacy Center, and so our project was submitted through that, and we had the help from the U.S. The U.S. authorities, and that allowed us to be awarded the contract because otherwise it would have been impossible. You said it very well. If you don't bribe, if you don't do things the way they want it done, um, well, you will never get a contract. So knowing how it worked and knowing that it was so difficult to be awarded a contract if we came by ourselves. So what I did was I submitted the project to U.S. authorities, to the advocacy center at the Department of Commerce, and then we got help from U.S. authorities. The U.S. embassy in Cameroon was involved to help us have a playing field. And even despite the presence of U.S. authorities, it was so complicated because they still went ahead, despite the fact that they knew who I was. They still went ahead because there are things they couldn't do with me, and so they decided to award the contract to a Chinese company. So and
But
they award.
before awarding you this contract, you had already been working with them
Exactly.
diplomatically, isn't it? So
Yeah.
why was it so hard for you? Number two. Number two, you come from Yaoundé. You know
You
Ngongo.
have
You know all these
to
people. Why was it hard for you?
you have to understand how Cameroon works. Uh, this is one of the most dysfunctional systems you will ever find. There is a president. Everybody knows the president is not the one really deciding for the country. And under the president, you have three or four, I would call them vice presidents in their sectors. This is one example. So if you are having a judicial problem in Cameroon and Mr. Laurent Esso is against you, chances are you are done. Why? Because he's the president when it comes to judicial matters,
Okay.
and so it's the same thing if you are talking about defense. If you
Yeah.
are talking about defense, and someone like Galaxy Toga is against you, you are done. So he's acting and he's functioning as the vice president there, even though he's not the minister of defense, he
Yeah.
is just the secretary, and so, but he's more powerful than his minister. And if you don't understand that, you may be taking the wrong approach, thinking that if you go and talk to the Minister of Defense, um, you will have a result. If you don't know that the person you need to talk to is the secretary, um,
Interesting.
time will be wasted. And then when it comes to financial matters, the real president of Cameroon is Mr. Motaze, he who is Minister of Finance, and he's also the president's nephew.
Oh,
So
okay.
he has direct access to the president. So when it comes to financial matters, he is the president. And then you have the president, the president of everything else.
Right.
Who is Mr. Ngongo. So if you don't
Oh,
understand
Ngongo is a president of everything else.
everything else, so you have the president of financial matters, because the president trusts Mr. Mutaze, and refers to whatever Mr. Mutaze says. And then on the other side, you have Mr. Laurent Esso, a friend, the friend of the president, who is the acting president when it comes to justice. And you have the Department of Defense. You have Mr. Galaxy Toga there. The interesting thing here is that Mr. Galaxy Toga and Mr. Ngongo work together. They are really great friends. I would even say they are brothers.
Okay.
So that's how Cameroon functions. So each of those ministers I just mentioned has a group of ministers. Let me take an example. If you are looking for a contract at the Department of Public Works, and you are perceived to be a friend of Laurent Esso, for instance.
Yeah.
Let's not say Laurent Esso, because there was a rapprochement between Laurent Esso and Motaze. Let's say you are perceived to be a friend of Ngongo, you will never get that contract. Why?
Interesting.
Because the Minister of Public Works uh, really sees Motaze as the real president.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
So, and he knows that if he's minister, because Motaze wanted him to be minister. And if he wants to talk to the president, he can go to Motaze, and Motaze will see the president on his behalf.
Yeah.
So this is a very dysfunctional government, and that's the reason why nothing works. There is a problem. People know there is a problem, but who will be the first to solve the problem? Because they are fighting. Those four people, have formed two camps. You have on the left, you have Ngongo and Galax, Etoga. And then on the other side, you have Motaze and Laurent Esso. So if you are perceived as someone from the other camp, chances are, if you are looking for things in half of the ministries, you are not going to get those things. And the same thing, is true when you go to the other side. So it's a very dysfunctional country of people who know the truth. They know Mr. Biya is no more the president. They know that. So, and they understand that in order for them to stay where they are, they need to make people believe that Mr. Biya is still in charge. That's the only thing they agree on.
Okay.
Beside that, there could be a very big war if one camp tries to remove the other. So, knowing what is happening, nothing can evolve because they both have the capacity to block each other. And that's the reason why Cameroon needs a new president, a new system, someone who's not uh, tied and blocked by those gangs that are fighting around the president. If Cameroon doesn't get a new president, you just forget about Cameroon. It's going to be total chaos.
So when you have these different groups and each person fighting for his own interest, protecting his or her own interest, when it comes to a situation like the elections that just took place, how do they agree? Because you
Oh,
see different interests.
they all come together, Chris. This is Bia is the one thing that unites them. You know, if you because they understand that if if Ngongo becomes president, trust me when I tell you this, Laurent Esso is not safe.
Okay.
And if Laurent Esso becomes president, Ngongo is not safe. So you basically have two countries within a country. And depending on where you are, uh, the ministers that belong to Laurent Esso's camp do everything they can
Yeah.
to stop those other ministers that are from Laurent Esso's camp. So it's just a real mess, and the only loser in all of this is the Cameroonian people, because you have the people in between. They need water, they need power, they need to be able to take care of themselves, they need jobs. They don't have that. Why? Because you have those two groups up there fighting for power, not power to help the people. They are fighting for power to stay in power, to be able to submit others. It's just a bizarre situation. And then lately, they started, you know, they know Mr. Bi is no more fit to be in office. So, and they know that if the people protest, if the people stay firm on the and determine that Mr. Biya must go out, they know there is no argument. Mr. Biya will be out. So what do? They are now planning to kill other ethnic groups, other people originating from other regions, just to stay in power. And that is very unfortunate. And that's why we say we are not going to let the genocide that is currently being prepared in Cameroon, we are not going to let it happen.
Let's look at the dynamics within A2D, the presidency, because we've heard so much about Frank Biya. We heard so much about Chantal Biya and Ngongo, these three axes.
Yeah.
At a point in time, we hear Frank Biya is with Ngongo, but we also hear that Chantal Biya is very much against Frank Biya eventually taking over power. Which one is which?
Well, it's what you're saying. It's partly true. You have the first lady, Mrs. Chantal Biya, who pretty much likes Mr. Ngongo, so and supports the man. You know, and then you have Frank Biya, who is close to people like Motaze. Remember, they grew up together. They grew in the same house. You know, Mr. Biya, Mr. Frank Biya, and Mr. Motaze. Many people don't know this. It's
Okay.
that Louis Paul Motaze, the Minister of Finance, grew up in the same house with Frank Biya. So they are brothers. You see? So and so Frank Biya tends to be close to Motaze, and that is complicating things within their inner circles because they have groups within their group, and that doesn't help, especially since all of them are doing such a bad job.
So let's go back to this from our discussion yesterday. In May,
Yeah.
you had already done some work for them. In fact, my understanding is that I don't know whether it was 2019 or 2020 or so when Bia was making the trip to Washington D.C. for the African U.S. Leaders Summit. You
20,
were
2014 first. So I was called to. That's when I started helping the country. I
okay,
mean, I
2014.
was doing it informally, but I was signed my first contract in 2014, so about 11 years ago. And so I'm not free to discuss what was in, but what I can say was that my job was to help the country obtain a certain number of things, and so that's what I did for Cameroon. Um, yeah, go ahead, please.
So after 2014, you continued to do some business for the country all the way up to last May. You said
Yes.
they came
So
back to you and wanted you to endorse Bia, or wanted to co-opt you, I guess, into the campaign for Bia running for for the eighth term, and that is where you fared out. How
yeah,
did that come
and I
about?
told them, Chris, I told them, okay, listen, this cannot be happening. Yeah, Mr. Bi is 92 years old. He's closer to 93 years old, and
Right.
so he's been in power because let's go back to the context here. This is a man who's been minister. He used to be minister and was minister for 13 years. And after that, he became prime minister for 7 years. And after that, he became president of Cameroon and has been president for 43 years. So if you put all of that together, that's 63 years, Chris.
Yeah.
And he's 93 years old. And there are people who seriously thought that it was a good idea to come back to Cameroonians and convince the international community that somehow Mr. Bia is the right man for this situation. I mean, this is unbelievable. It's insane to even think that in a country where you have so many young people, over 70% of the country is less than 35 years old.
Right.
And in such a country, the solution you have for 7 years is a 93 years old man who's been there for 63 years, and the country has no power, the country has no potable water, the country has no real health system. 96% of Cameroonians have no jobs. Their
Yeah.
unofficial numbers say 76%. Those are their numbers. The National Assembly, they said it's 74%. So, if they are telling you it's 74% officially, this number must be close to 96, 97%.
Right.
So, with such a record, how can reasonable people, normal people, come back and have the courage to say the guy who is the solution is the same man who's not been able to give power, potable water, a health system, roads, and jobs to Cameroonians? It's just insane, man. It's insane. But they seem to believe that he is the solution, and so when I told them that I was not going to support them, I couldn't go through that. especially because in 2018, I mean, it was clear that the man is gone, but with everything, all the guarantees that they said they were going to do this, they were going to do that, they were going to do that. The people were going to be better by 2025. But when you look at 2018 and you compare to 2025, well, Cameroonians are worse off than they were in 2018.
Right.
And they are now saying they need another 7 years. 7 years to do what? What can they possibly do in the next 7 years that they haven't done, in the last 43 years? I believe that this is an insult to the Cameroonian people. It's an insult even to the international community. Cameroon now has the oldest president on earth. Can you believe that?
Right.
This is a man who cannot take control of himself. He cannot. He needs help to eat. He needs help to work. He needs help to think about it. He needs help. And simply because you have a gang there to defend their own interests, they are keeping such a man in power to be able to continue to exercise power, care of Mr. Biya. It's unbelievable, and they are not even doing it rightly. Now they are planning to kill Cameroonians. They are planning to have a genocide conducted simply because they know, they are fragile. They didn't win the election. The army voted for Mr. Chiroma, and they are afraid that if they give munitions to the army, soldiers could turn against them. So what do? They refuse to give munitions to soldiers coming from other regions. If you are from the Nozo region, if you are from the west, if you are from the north, you are not going to get any munitions with this regime. And that's why we are clearly saying that this government is preparing a genocide. And it's high time this be stopped. We cannot let that happen. The last
So
time...
in
Yeah,
May, while they were preparing for the campaign and endorsing Biya for another 8-year term, who precisely contacted you? Ngongo, Shanta, who contacted
well,
you?
I'm not gonna give the names. I'm gonna tell you though.
Okay.
I told Mr. Ngongo that this cannot be done. It shouldn't be done. I told other people around him that this cannot be done. I told Mr. Baboke, he's one person we've been forgetting. He's also one of the biggest and highest insiders there. And I told them, okay, listen, this cannot be true. The president needs to retire. This country cannot go through 7 other years of Mr. Biya. If this is done, there is no country. There is no country in 3 years. There is no country in 5 years. Because the people currently in charge don't care about the people. They care about their power. As long as they submit the people of Cameroon, it's okay. They don't care that the people don't have jobs. They don't care that people don't have food. They don't have roads. They don't have power. They don't have potable water. They don't care about that. And if this continues, Cameroon is going to become a you're going to have like 5 countries within that country. Because injustice, the only thing that strengthens a nation is justice. If injustice becomes the rule, such a country cannot continue to survive. People will want to live. Who will want to stay in a country where injustice is the rule? No one. No one. And that's the reason why we are telling the international community, okay, listen, this has been going on for too long. It has to stop. The international community needs to step in. We saw in 1994 when people tried everything to stay in power, 1 million Rwandans lost their lives. 1 million. Just think about it. And they lost their lives in less than 3 months, 100
Yeah.
days.
Right.
So this has to change. And I believe that the international community must step in. But we are not going to sit back and let it happen. That's the reason why we decided to arm ourselves to make sure that justice prevails.
So, after you told them no, you cannot support the idea of Paul Biya running again for an eighth term, what was the response?
Well, they just felt like I was obliged to support Mr. Biya. And I asked them why.
Because you were getting contracts from them, and because you come from
Because I
Yaoundé?
had a contract, because one of my companies had a contract with the state of Cameroon. And I told them, okay, listen, I've been in this to help the country I was born in. I did not do it for one person. I didn't do it for Mr. Biya or Mr. Ngongo or Mr. Who, I don't know. I did it for Cameroon because I believe that a country needs all its children. So, and no one is more important than another one. You know, if I can help, I'm going to help. So do not believe that because I have a contract, and by the way, the contract was still ongoing. And so, because we still had over 12 billion to be received. And so they felt that, well, it was enough for me to stay quiet.
By the way, how much was this contract that you had to
30,
build the
38
stadium?
billion, 38 billion CFA.
38 billion.
So, yeah, so we had
Okay.
already done work for about 26, and we had 12 billion remaining, and we had a total of 6 different projects. So the 38 was for 6 different projects, and so they felt that simply because we had those contracts, it was an obligation for us to support them. What they don't understand, when you are a government worker, you don't work for the government and think that, hey, it's because of the president that you are there. You could be a government worker and stay true to yourself, because you are not really working for the president or working for the minister. You're working for the country. And I believe that is what so many people miss in their dealings with the government. And they find themselves, and I'm talking to them. I was talking the other day to another one, someone who also had a few contracts and who did not understand why I decided to speak against Mr. Biya and his gang. And so he was trying to convince me that, well, there are additional contracts coming. Why would you stop that? And I had to tell him that if I sign a contract with Cameroon, I'm signing a contract with the country, Cameroon. And if someone, even the person who signed that contract with me as the minister, that person only represents Cameroon.
Right.
They need to understand that. And so if that person becomes someone who doesn't work for the country, or he starts, fighting for himself and not the country, well, I owe nothing to the individual. I owe something to the country, and I sign a contract with the country, not with a specific individual. That's what so many contractors, so many government workers fail to understand. And that's the reason why you see so many people in government. You have mayors, you have subdivision officers, you have divisional officers. They all feel that if they don't help the government, they are wrong. And it's wrong to think that way. It's wrong to think that way. They owe it to the Cameroonian people. They owe it to Cameroon to do the right thing. And it's not
Absolutely.
because they have such a contract that they will just sell the country. That's insane.
Did you meet in the course of your dealings with Cameroon? Have you met Shanta? Have you met Ngongo personally? Have you met Frank personally? And what do you think about them?
Well, I can speak of the Mr. Bia, Mrs. Bia, Mr. Ngongo, who are people I've met. I've really in I've really never met Mr. Frank Bia personally. He could be somewhere in the room where I was, or we could be in the same room. I don't count that as a meeting. So I think that he's also one of the main responsible parties here. Because just think about it, Chris. You have your father. He's 93 years old. He's been in power. Yeah, when Frank Bia was born, his father was minister.
Right.
His father became prime minister and then president. So all his life, he's been in power. Now his father is 93 years old. Why can't he just tell his father, okay, listen, that it's over. Let's maybe it's time to retire. But he doesn't do that. He's the eldest son. I believe he's one of them. I believe he's one of those people who do everything in their power to keep Cameroon and Cameroonians in chains. And that has to change. And I believe it will change very soon.
So you got this contract to build a stadium in Garoua. We have learned of the bureaucracy involved in getting contracts in that country. How did you get your contract? Is it because then you were closer to them, you were talking to them, you were working with them? But walk us through the process, how you got a contract of 30 billion.
Let me tell you something, Chris. Well, even if you are with them, there are things you should never expect
Okay.
unless you really become one of them. I don't want to go in the details because it involves so many other things. But if you want the type of contracts I got in Cameroon, I believe because I saw other people do certain things. You really have to become one of them. The difference with me was that I was coming in as an American company, officially recommended by the Department of Commerce, and throughout the negotiation, I did not go to one meeting without representatives from the US Embassy. So I made sure that everything was being discussed,
Openly.
clearly openly because I knew that if I did not have America behind me to level the field, that field will never be level. They would require me to do other things and go through other things. And that's just the way it is. And so, and I tell you, despite the fact that we had the US fighting for this contract, they still gave it to a Chinese company. It's when I heard of that that I quickly informed the ambassador. At the time, the ambassador was Michael Hosa. So I explained to him, okay, listen, despite all our efforts, they went ahead and awarded the contract to a Chinese company. Mike got upset. He called the president.
But hold on there, hold on there for a second. I mean, you knew Ngongo. You
Yeah.
knew even the president, because the president had been here, and you actually spoke with him. And following our conversation yesterday, you said the president had asked you to come and take a position. That is, Paul Biya had asked you to come and take a position in the government. In spite
In
of that,
2018.
in spite of that, they were still trying to play you around to get a
So
contract.
this contract was signed a few months before the conversation, right?
Okay.
But the fact is, I was doing my job. The person who brought me in was called Belinga Ebutu. I don't know if you heard of him.
No.
He was the director of civil cabinet. And so I used to help Cameroon while he was here in the US because, he spent a few years as Cameroonian ambassador to the UN.
Yeah.
So in 2 or 3 occasions, they had issues. And I proposed to help solve the issues. So that's how I started working with Mr. Belinga Ebutu. So he's the one who introduced me to the president.
To?
He's the one who introduced me to Paul Biya,
Okay.
because there was a problem and the problem needed to be solved. And because I had managed a similar problem before, he brought me to President Biya and said, okay, this man can help us. That's how I came to meet Mr. Biya. And so when you talk about Mr. Ngongo, we really have never been friends, even up to now. I'm one of those who believe that you don't need to be friends with people to get things from them. You just have to make yourself someone they cannot do without. You see what I'm saying, Chris?
Right.
Because I knew that what I was doing, they couldn't find someone to do it the way I was doing it. So I always understood that I was there because they needed me. And that the minute they can find someone capable of doing what I was doing, the way I was doing it, I mean, I had no doubt that they would get rid of me. You understand the situation?
Right.
So, and that is what kept me there for so long, because the expertise I was bringing in, the ability to connect a few dots, it wasn't something they could easily find. And I believe that that's the reason why I was able to be there. So when the time comes for this contract, they had their own companies. They had, I just told you, a Chinese company.
Right.
I won't give you the name, But they had that Chinese company, and that company, they awarded the contract to that company. It's when I heard,
Who, in your opinion, were behind the Chinese company within the system?
Yeah, Mr. Gongo and his team were behind the Chinese company. And how do I know that? I know that because when the president asked them to, when I heard that they had awarded the contract to the Chinese company, I went to see the ambassador, Mike,
Yeah.
explain to him what was happening. He got upset and called the president. And he complained that he does not understand why they are giving everything to Chinese or the French or Europeans. Why can't they work with Americans too? And the president had promised the ambassador that he was going to award a few contracts to American companies. So the ambassador reminded that to the president. That's when the president then says, okay, I'm going to solve that. The president calls Mr. Ngongo and asks Mr. Ngongo to award the contract to the American company. And that is the reason why we got attacked, because they already have their deals with the Chinese company. Now they don't know how we manage to have the president order his secretary general to award the contract to us. And they awarded the contract to us. I know they didn't like me. They know I really didn't like them too. So that's fine. But we were forced to work together. And we worked together. So when the contract was then re-awarded to me, after the award to the Chinese company, because they took it from the Chinese company the following day and awarded it to me. So now they called me and they asked me, hey, can you take 10% of this project? And then you sign a subcontract with the same Chinese company that they awarded the contract to. Which sounds very bizarre, The law in Cameroon, and that's what I told them, the law in Cameroon does not allow someone who won a contract to subcontract 90% of his contract. That's against the law in Cameroon. The law in Cameroon says that you cannot subcontract over 30% of a contract that you signed with a state. So I just showed them the law that, okay, I cannot do this. I didn't want to do it. And then I had the law with me. And so what I did is I just showed them the law that, well, the law does not allow me to do this. They tried to convince me that no one would know. Well, I know, I would know. So if I know, you cannot say no one would know. If I know, I think is enough. And so we couldn't go against that. So that's the reason why I did not subcontract this specific contract with the Chinese company I just mentioned. When they got their first chance to cancel my contract in 2019, Chris, they did not hesitate to do so.
What was the reason for trying to cancel your contract?
Well, remember, the competition normally was scheduled for January 2019. The AFCON.
Yeah, the AFCON, yes.
Yeah, it was scheduled for January and February 2019. So in November, on November 30th, the CAF authorities decide to push the competition. First, hold the 2019 competition in Egypt, and then postpone Cameroon's tournament to 2021 first, and then it became 2022. And so that's what happened. Because the competition was postponed, they then took that as a reason to say, you know what, we are no more running. We have to take these contracts away and award them to someone else. Let me tell you something. When they cancel our contracts, our contract for the Benue Hotel was for about 11 billion. So when they canceled that, they awarded it to another company, this time a Cameroonian company.
But what was, again, I didn't get the reason why they canceled the contract for you.
The competition was postponed.
Okay.
So we now had 2 years to prepare,
Yes.
like 2.5 years to
Right.
prepare. And so they felt that because they had time, they were safe canceling our contracts and awarding that contract to another company. So I just took you an example for the Benue Hotel. They canceled a contract of 11 billion CFA that had already been executed for over 60%.
Right.
And they awarded that contract to a new company for 23 billion CFA.
Wow.
Think about it.
After they awarded the same contract to you for 32 billion, and you've done half of the job.
I told you, the 38 is 6 different projects.
Yeah.
And one of those projects was the extension and construction of a hotel. So that specific contract, within the contract, that specific project was awarded for 11 billion CFA. We had already done 60% of the work. So we had 40% of the work remaining. So they canceled that contract where we have left about 4.5 billion, something like that. They canceled that, sign and award a new contract to a new company, and the amount of that new contract is 23 billion CFA. So they were giving 23 billion CFA to a new company to complete 40%
Of the job left.
of the job. So when we saw that, hey, we took them to task. So what did we do? Well, we went through the embassy, contacted the president again to tell the president, hey, listen, how is it possible that a company that only has 4.5, maximum of 5 billion left to complete its work, you guys will take away that contract to award it to another company for 23 billion CFA? How is that possible? And sure enough, the president asked them to cancel that contract and give us back the contract. So that's how we got awarded the contract a second time. So as you can imagine, there's been some fighting going on, but it's gentle. It's not, it wasn't that peaceful. It wasn't that peaceful. They knew that if you come against us, we will come after you.
So essentially, apparently you got the contract because you had the force of the United States, the U.S. ambassador then
exactly.
behind you, not necessarily because you are an insider, because again,
and that's
you
what
are
I
not
keep saying. That's what I kept saying, Chris, is that people have the feeling that it was because of Ngongo. I'm telling you, Ngongo had a Chinese company. And we had to go through that Chinese company
To do what?
to win that contract. We had to beat them to win that contract. So let me tell you something else. You know, when the contract was awarded to us, the Secretary General had to sign a letter to us informing me that we won the contract. Do you know that that same contract, that same letter, I discovered it in the social media.
Interesting.
So they signed the letter, made sure that the letter was, leaked to the press, and they started saying things to turn the people against us, because their goal was to have the president cancel that contract. And it almost got canceled. I'm telling you, Chris, if we did not have Ambassador Michael Hosa in Cameroon at that time, that contract would have been canceled. So it's a grace. It's God's grace that we had someone like Mike Hosa in Cameroon who could pick up his phone, talk to the president directly, tell him, hey, we need to be fair here. And that's what saved us.
So if I may ask,
Sure.
we had so many other stadia, like for the one in Douala, the one in Yaoundé. It took them forever to complete it, to meet the deadline for the competition. What was going
Correct.
on? Is it that the contractors were going through the same things you were going through, or what?
See, the problem in Cameroon is that as long as you work with your money, it's fine. When the time comes to pay you, then you will hear of conditions. You'll have people tell you, okay, listen, in order for me to help with this payment, you have to pay 10%. You have to pay 20%. I was asked that
20%.
10% in my
10%
case.
of 32
10%.
billion, or of a certain amount.
I mean, of each payment, you've done work for, let's say, 10%.
Yeah.
You have to bill the government because you have to work first.
Yes.
So you find the money to work first. And after working, you now submit an invoice.
The bill, yes.
That bill, the government needs to pay. So imagine that. You went out, you took out loans, you did the work, and now when it's time to pay, someone tells you, if you don't pay us 10%, this bill is not going to get paid. And if you are one of those people like me who will say, hey, this is not my father's home, so let's wait. If you cannot make that payment, the competition will not be played. So I'll sit back until a commission, an Afghan commission comes in, sees that work is not going through, and turns to the government and says, hey, we are going to remove this competition if you guys don't finish this occasion. I'm going to tell you, when the Afghan delegation says that, then they will have a payment. They will make a payment in the next 2 days or 3 days. They are forced to do that. Let me tell you something. It came to the point where, in order for us to get paid, I had to deal with the Secretary General of the CAF organization. So I had to tell him, because I clearly told them, okay, listen, these guys don't want these stadiums to be completed. They want us to bribe them. And I told them I'm not doing it. So I'm telling you, we are not going to be ready if you don't help us. You know what Mr. Musango did?
No.
Mr. Musango, who was, I think he's still the Secretary General of CAF, he gave me his number and he told me, if you submit a bill and that bill is not paid within the timeline, call me, tell me, and I'm going to schedule an AFCON
Committee meeting.
a committee to come down to Cameroon just to solve your case. This is how we did it. Cameroonians don't know this. This is the first time I'm telling this to someone. So many times you had unscheduled visits from the Afghan delegation.
Yeah.
They were coming to help us solve a problem. Because
Yeah.
otherwise we would have been forced to pay bribes to the Cameroonian government. That's how we evolved. And that's the reason why the minute they postponed the competition, well, they canceled the contract.
Now, did you become friends with Ngongo? I mean, because following our discussion yesterday, I know you met Ngongo for some bills to be paid. He sent you to the Minister of Finance. The Minister of Finance says, I'm not paying it. You go back to Ngongo to and fro. When did you first meet Ngongo and getting into business with him?
So the first time I met Ngongo was in Cameroon at the presidency. And it was after I signed the contract.
Okay.
Before that, my job, my line of work was with the Director of Civil Cabinet. And the Director of Civil Cabinet at the time was Mr. Belinga Ebutu.
Okay.
So I was working directly with him because the things we were working on, were going through him. And then he was reporting to the president. So I wasn't working with Mr. Ngongo. I met him the first time after.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then later on, when people started, fighting me, fighting him, so they put all of us in the same box.
Basket.
And when you are fighting, you have a common enemy. He's shooting at you guys. He wants to kill you. And then you see someone who's shooting in the same direction. If you are intelligent, you guys need to get together first to fight this common enemy. And then when it's done, we can have a conversation. And that's what happened with Mr. Ngongo. It's that we found ourselves attacked by Mr. Mutaze and his camp. And so we had to self-defend.
Many people have the impression that Ngongo has some absolute powers within that circle of the hardliners in Yaoundé. So apparently you are saying it's not the case.
What I'm saying is, when the president was still capable of running the country, when an ambassador could still call the president, he was not the most powerful person in the room, because you had the president, obviously.
Yes, right.
Now, the president has lost it. As we speak, Chris, the president could be in a room, he doesn't know where he is. He could be doing something. If you don't tell him this is what, you constantly have to remind him to do things. So he's lost it. And the president no more has his direct phones.
Oh, he doesn't have his direct phones, right? They've been taken away from him.
Exactly. Now, to reach the president, you have to go through Mrs. President. That's how we call her. Mrs. Bia,
Yeah.
because she's the one now telling the rest of the world what the president wants and what the president doesn't want. Now, you have the president's son, who also has access to his father, and you have Vondo Ayolo, who is a nephew to the president, who also has access to the president. So, what's happening now is that you have the four groups below the president.
Yeah.
They all know that the president is no more the deciding factor. They know that. But they keep it as a secret as long as no one attacks the other one. As long as they don't attack each other, it's
Yeah.
fine. But the minute you will have one of them attack the other one, then you will hear things. It will be known that the real president of Cameroon is Mrs. Bia, and she's delegating everything to Mr. Ngongo. But it doesn't cut Mr. Motaze's access to his uncle. It doesn't cut Mr. Frank Bia's access to his father. It doesn't cut Mr. Mvondo Ayolo's access to his uncle. So that's the current situation, and that's why it's so dangerous. Leaving Mr. Bia in power, it is such a danger to everyone, to the Cameroonian people. First, because nothing will change. It's going to be fight over fight over fight, and nothing will move forward. You have the West interest in Cameroon. You have French, Russians, Americans. They have interest in Cameroon.
Right.
So when you encourage a country where injustice is the rule, your interest cannot be safe. So ultimately, there will come a point where the people will decide to stand up and fight. And when they fight, whose interest do you believe will be targeted? The West interest, France, the EU, America, Russia. Their companies will suffer. So even for them, it's such a bad idea to keep Mr. Bia in power. Not only the man is doing everything to commit a genocide, so that is bad for the Cameroonian people, but it's also bad for the international community. Why?
But the question remains, is Bia actually the one doing this? You just said the man is so old, understands nothing, his phones have been withdrawn, his phones have been taken from him.
Yeah.
So it should be somebody. It should be somebody behind the scenes doing this. Who is that?
I just told you, Chris. You have Mrs. Bia. She has direct access to her husband. She speaks for her husband. You have Mr. Frank Bia. He has direct access to his father. So there's something particular with him, is that he likes acting in the background. You have Mr. Mvondo Ayolo. He has direct access to the president sometimes. So he knows what is going on. And then you have Mr. Motaze, who has direct access to the president and sometimes. And so those people, the group Ngongo also has direct access to the president.
How about Atanganji? Does Atanganji have direct access to the president?
No, Atanganji takes his orders from Ngongo. He's the one. He's the one directing Atanganji to go A or B. Atanganji is just a zealous man who is trying to keep his job.
Right.
And he believes that if he's asked to do 10 and he does 20, his boss is going to be happy. So he's out there threatening people, saying all kinds of things. But at the end of the day, he's reporting to Ngongo, who is the ultimate responsible,
So
because he.
who within the circle of Ngongo, Ayolo, Shanta, Frank, Motaze, who wields more influence and power within that circle?
I would say Mrs. Bia, Mr. Ngongo. If I had to be pressed to tell you right now who is the president of Cameroon, I would say Mrs. Chantal Bia is the president and Mr. Ngongo is the vice president.
Unbelievable. That
So you
is
have a
quite.
situation
Do you
where,
think? Do you think? Now you met Chantal, right?
yeah.
Describe him. Describe her. Sorry.
Well, I mean, she's a nice lady. She's a nice woman. I remember when we met. It wasn't. We were not fighting, right? And so she's a nice woman, but she's a nice woman who relies totally on two persons. Number one, Mr. Ngongo. Number two, Mr. Baboke. So if you want Mrs. Bia, the president, because let's call her what she is. If you want her to make a decision, if you want her to decide on something, the two people you have to convince, at least one of them, is either Baboke or Mr. Ngongo. So
The-
she is the president of Cameroon right now, but she's not deciding.
yeah.
You know,
You're right.
she has the power, but the person who really yields that power is Mr. Ngongo, because he's the one in charge of the daily operations of the country.
How educated is Chantal? Did you go to the university?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if she went, but I'm not gonna go there, Chris.
Okay.
You know why I'm not gonna go there? Because
No.
I believe that any reasonable person who spends time with someone, who a man of power,
Yeah.
that person should learn by experience. And so it's always a miscalculation to underestimate that person, because
Right.
she's heard so many things, she's been in so many meetings, she knows how it works, she knows who to talk to. So
Right.
when it comes to that, education, doesn't really count.
Do you think that Chantal she's nursing the ambition of becoming president?
At one time, I believe I told one of my friends that I thought she wanted to be president. I told someone that, and I didn't say that today. I said it in 2015, 2014, 2015, because the actions we were asked to run for her, I mean, it gave me particularly the impression that maybe she wants to be president of Cameroon someday, just maybe. But that was a long that was a long time ago. I don't think she has changed. I believe that she can see the landscape, and maybe she convinced herself that standing as Chantal Biya, president of Cameroon, will not be accepted. So, and then she concluded that maybe it's wise to just go through someone else. But at the time, back then, 10 years ago, I really had the feeling that there was something, going on.
So, do you think that Chantal wields such influence as to be capable of convincing Ayolo, Ngongo, Motaze, and the rest uh, for the president, for Biya to leave power? If she
Well,
says the time is up, so you think others will just flow?
let me just tell you what a diplomatic source in Yaoundé that has met with the all the people involved after the crisis, after October 12th. So I'm just going to tell you, without naming the person, what I was told. While I was complaining, the person said that there are two persons that, if they are not here today, I believe that the president is out within 2-3 days. And he named the two persons.
Okay.
One of them was Ngongo,
Uh-huh.
and the other one was Vondo Ayolo.
Mvondo
Now,
Ayolo,
I
okay.
wasn't part of the conversations he had. But coming out of those conversations, this source had the strong feeling that the people really holding Cameroon hostage and who are ready to go through hell, for this are Mr. Ngongo and Mr. Ayolo. And I asked the person, what do you think of Mrs. Bia? And the person told me that he or she is confident, because it could be a man or a woman, and it wasn't necessarily in English. The conversation took place, that I can say, in another language. So the person told me that if Mr. Ngongo and Mr. Vondo Ayolo are not in the room, the diplomatic
Yeah.
representatives, they felt confident that they could convince Mrs. Bia and Mr. Bia to leave power. That was what was said to me
Yeah.
just a few days ago.
So tell me, there's been war going on for 9 years now. 9 years.
Yeah, that's a long time.
In Amazonia. What have you heard from the Ngongos, the Shantas, what the Ayolos? Did they
Chris, let's say
ever
this.
did they ever contact you in the U.S. to do work on their behalf over this war?
So they refuse to. In a few instances, I had a conversation on this. Um, yeah, they were not interested. They were not interested. Let me just say it that way. And Mr. Thabo Mbeki said it plainly.
When you say they were not interested, interested in what?
They don't want peace in the Nozo region
Okay.
because it works for them. Some of them financially. When I say financially, I speak directly of Mr. Atanganji. He's financially benefiting from the crisis. For people like Ngongo and folks at the Ministry of Defense, they benefit from this crisis. In the military, in the military, the hierarchy in the military, it's financial benefits.
Yeah.
They see this as an incentive to keep the war, going. And then you have the politicians, the people who believe that if Nozo is in peace, it may be difficult to rig elections. So those people, and we saw it on October 12th. So if they can keep the region in a senseless war, then they can rig elections as long as they want, because they can use the nozzle as a reserve of voices to win any election they will want to win. So you have a group of gangsters, each benefiting from the situation in the nozzle, in ways that are just unbelievable. And I believe that this is one of the things that must be resolved. And when things when things get to this point, they cannot and must not be allowed to continue. And they have to be stopped. And they will be stopped.
Do you see Ngongo aspiring to maybe be the next president after Biya? And I know if that is the case, he must have the support of Shanta. Am I correct?
That you're correct. I believe that is the plan. That is plan A. I do know of 2 or 3 other plans that are still options.
Where does Frank Biya comes in?
Well, Mr. Biya believes that he has what it takes to be president too. And so he may not be with Mrs. Biya when it comes to Mr. Ngongo becoming president. And so he may have other ideas.
I just got sent what they call a lit list of Paul Biya's new cabinet members. I have glanced through that list. Ngongo is taken out of the presidency. In fact, he is now assuming that this list is legitimate. I cannot confirm it, but let's look at it. You have Ngongo is now named as, where is that? Let me see. So Ngongo is now Minister d'État de Relations, that Minister of External Relations. That is a new, assuming that the list is legitimate, is legal.
I can tell you that it's not.
Ngongo is now named the Minister of External Relations, and the Vice President or the Prime Minister, according to that list, is one Manuada Malachi. Vice Prime Minister is one Fai Yengo Francis. Now, one interesting thing to note here is that Atanganji does not feature in this list. That is, again, we cannot confirm whether this list is legitimate, is true or not. But if it is true, Ngongo is no longer at the presidency. If he was that powerful in the presidency, who will take him out of there then?
So, Chris, you have to understand how it works, right? I told you about 4 groups that are, in fact, 2 groups.
Okay.
You remember that?
Yes.
And they all do everything in their power to be successful in having Mr. Biya sign something. What's going to happen? What could happen is this. Mr. Frank Biya could have a government prepared, get into the room with his father, and have his father sign that document
Okay.
without the, the First Lady's knowledge. And what you will see is that as soon as the First Lady knows of it, you're going to have maybe a few days later, you're going to have a new government come out with different names. And see, remember what happened in Fekafu? You had an order from the presidency instructing the Minister of Sport to do something. But then you have the president of Fekafu, who knows how it works up there, used a different channel and got an instruction totally different from the first instruction. He got it from the president. So here, it's just a matter of who gets to the president first.
Yeah.
Who can be successful having the president sign a document? And even if that happens, understand that if it's really something big, you're going to have a counter government come out a few days later, also signed by the president.
Interesting.
Because Mrs. Bia is not going to lose this game. And she's determined, she has her people, she's determined to stay in, and she will do everything to fix that if she's, if she's handled that way. So, and that's the reason why I said nothing will change. As long as Mr. Bia is president of Cameroon, nothing will change, because you're still going to have those groups, each of them understanding pretty well how it works, and each of them with the ability to change a decision taken, quote unquote, by the president. So it's just a mess Cameroonians find themselves in, and we have to pray for that country. And that's the reason why we cannot sit back and let it happen. This is time to take Mr. Bia's regime out, and we will do that.
It is very intriguing to me, though, because I just still do not understand what Chantal wants. She got the money. What is she looking for? Just power, influence? What is it?
I mean, I've never been first lady. I've never been president, so I can't tell you how it feels to be a president or to be a first lady. All I know, though, is that she likes her position. She's determined to stay there, and so she's doing everything in her power to stay there, even if it means killing millions of Cameroonians. She doesn't care. Her gang doesn't care. The regime doesn't care.
Did you happen to meet the Prime Minister Dion Gute or any of them?
Yeah, I've met Prime Minister John Gute a few times.
And what do you see his role within that system?
Well, I'll tell you what I believe. This is a wasted statement, because very few people within the government have the ability Mr. John Gute has. And I say that of Mr. John Gute, I could say the same of Mr. Philemon Yang, and I've also met him several times. So I know how they think. I know they are people who truly love their country, but they have no power. They have no power. There is nothing. The prime minister in Cameroon, as we speak, means nothing. Nothing. He's supposed to be the prime minister, but he's just the first of the ministers. They just call him first when they are calling people within the government.
Right.
That's the only honor he has. I know that there are things that if, you know, the prime minister is allowed to play his full role, things would be different. And I've seen that. And I've seen that several times. So it's just a pity that in Cameroon you could have a secretary. I just told you about the Ministry of Defense. You have a Minister of Defense who is supposed to be the boss, but the
Yeah.
real boss is his secretary.
That's very interesting.
So the Minister of Defense can can have all the best or good ideas you can think of, but he does not count. Why? Because when it comes to planning the, say, the genocide, for instance, it's being done, you know, between Mr. Ngongo, Mr. Galaxy Toga, Mrs. Bia, and that's how they do it. And that's why I say he's wasted. You know, he's a wasted state man. You know, he's a state man, but he's not being used the way he should be used. And it's unfortunate. And you have many people within the Cameroonian government like that. You know, you have many of them like that. And I believe that when change comes, because I'm one of those who believe that change will come in a few weeks, you know, I think things will be right again.
Talking about change coming in a few weeks, what do you make of the campaign of Issa Chiruma claiming victory for the election?
Well, Mr. Chiroma won the election. You know, he won everywhere. You know, the in the southern, you know, in south the south region,
Yeah.
he lost the south region, but he won everywhere else. How is it possible that someone who won everywhere else would lose an election simply because, you know, a dictator holds the keys? We cannot allow that to happen, especially since that dictator is planning to kill Cameroonians who are not from his ethnic group. We know he's capable of doing that because
Yeah.
he did it before. In 1984, he killed people from the north regions. From 2016 to date, he's killed people in the Nozo region. So we know he's capable of doing that. And we take him very seriously when we see him giving ammunitions to soldiers coming from only one or two regions. We take him very seriously because we know that when this regime plans something, it does it. So, and that's the reason why we are telling the international community, we cannot let this man go through. We cannot let this happen. Mr. Biya and his regime need to be taken out now.
Now, talking about taking the regime out, you realize that Biya is so frail, he doesn't even know where he is. Let's assume in 6 months, in another 8 or let's say 1 year, he is no more. You are talking of Ngongo, Franz, Shanta, Ayolo, and the rest. What happens? Who takes over? Have you
not
thought
gonna
about that
happen.
or spoken to them about it?
Yeah, I mean, the plan is to have Mr. Ngongo become president. Now
Okay.
that everyone knows about it, I think they will find a way to go through Philemon Yang or Dion Gute, you know, to say, okay, listen, they will appoint Philemon Yang or John Gute, and then a presidential decree. Let's see. This is exactly what they are planning. Plan A, they want to have Ngongo in as vice president because he's the ultimate plan. They know, everyone knows that that's the plan. So they are now looking for a plan B. And that plan B is take someone from the Nozo region, most likely Philemon Yang or John Gute, take them and put them as vice president. But as soon as Mr. Biya is gone, no one will know that Mr. Biya is gone. So you will have a presidential decree changing Mr. Philemon Yang or Mr. John Gute, replacing him.
Who will be making a presidential decree when the president is gone?
Well, Mr. Ngongo has delegation, and there is an electronic copy of the president's signature. Everything the president is signing now is not signing it by hand. He's using an auto pen to
auto signature like Joe Biden.
Joe Biden, yeah. So the president could be dead today, and they decide to keep the president for a month, and they just change the vice president and put their guy and let it go maybe for another 2 or 3 or 4 months. So right now they are planning to use Mr. Philemon Yang or Mr. John Gute just because they understand that the people like those two figures. And so they are trying to use them as a stopgap until the situation is calm enough to come in with their plan. And so what we are saying is no, it won't happen that way.
Well, Ben, this has been a marathon. Please, if you can, stay put in there. Let us open the phone lines and hear from our audience what they are thinking with all that you have said here tonight. So please stay put in there, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to open the phone lines in a short while, but remember, you focus on your phone when you call. Shut down the volume of your TV set before you call. We're going to be right back in a brief second. Stay put.
ABS can help you reach your target audience like never before. Advertising on ABS, you'll benefit from our extensive reach and dedicated viewership. We offer special advertising packages during primetime slots and popular shows. You'll also be featured on our social media platforms, reaching an even wider audience. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Take your business to the next level. Contact our advertising team at absafricatv@gmail.com. ABS can help you reach your target audience like never before. Advertising on ABS, you'll benefit from our extensive reach and dedicated viewership. We offer special advertising packages during primetime slots and popular shows. You'll also be featured on our social media platforms, reaching an even wider audience. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Take your business to the next level. Contact.
All right. Thank you for staying put, ladies and gentlemen. Again, at this moment, we'll open the phone lines. Before you call, make sure that the volume of your TV set is shut down. You focus on your phone before you call. Please, let's get the number on the screen. And let's get to the first caller here. I think this is coming from Belgium. Hello.
Hello, thank you, Chris.
Hello, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Belgium.
Okay, and 30 seconds, sir. What is on your mind?
Yeah, I have a question for Mr. Ben. Mr. Ben, I love him since I know him concerning this election. I love him and because he said we will kick the Biya regime acts out. So are there any plans that because the regime they are so brutality, they brutalize people, are there any plan to arm the people so that they can fight the regime?
All right, hold on, let's get to that. Ben, you heard that question. Are there any plans to kick out the regime in the military way? Because I am sure you know, no elections, no ballots will ever change the regime in La Republic. What would you say to that?
We're on the same page on that. It's been our opinion that the only way to make this happen is going to be the only way they understand. And the only thing they understand is the use of force. And so we are not sitting back to watch the people go through a genocide. And we are not going to sit back to see them steal an election. And so a decision was made to arm the people, and that is effective. Um, and so that's how we will handle that.
What do you mean by a decision was made? Who made the decision?
So we came together as a group. I have a group of people I work with. You know, some of them on the ground, and so we decided that the people of Cameroon deserve, you know, self-defense, legitimate defense. Uh, Someone cannot come to your home and start shooting you, shooting at you or trying to kill you, and then you sit back. You have the right to self-defense, and we believe that the people of Cameroon have the right uh, to a legitimate defense, and that's what's being done. And so, arming the people, you know, some of them are coming from the Cameroonian army, others are not from the Cameroonian army, and so we are working with those people to make sure that uh, what needs to be done is done very quickly.
Are you speaking to Issa Chiruma's people?
Mr. Chiroma is a politician. We are not politicians. And so we simply believe that uh, a great injustice is being conducted by Mr. Bia's regime. They are planning to kill people from other regions, the Nozo, the West, the North, and we are not sitting back for that. So we are saying, if the Cameroonian people does not use self-defense, uh, they will they will be killed in millions. We saw that in Rwanda in 1994. You know, in less than 100 days, you had 1 million people killed. And today we believe that if we allow Mr. Bia's regime to run his genocide, there will be at least 3 million Cameroonians losing their lives. And so that's why it's urgent, you know, to make sure that Cameroonians are armed, uh, and that's the reason why the force for the legitimate defense of Cameroon was created, to make
Force,
sure that
force for the legitimate
force
defense
for
of Cameroon.
legitimate defense of Cameroon. So that's the reason why that force was created, and that's the reason why we are actively working towards making sure that uh, you know the, the dictatorial regime of Mr. Biya is out. They are planning to kill people. They have done it before. We saw it. We saw it with Northerners in 1984. We saw it with citizens of the Nozo regions, and it's still ongoing. We saw it 2 weeks ago when people protested. We saw a gang, a militia, kill unarmed kids. And now we see that Mr. Biya is arming soldiers from 1 or 2 regions. For what could be the reason for a reasonable government which has about 100,000 people at its disposal, just decide to arm 10,000 of them, or maybe 20,000 of them, and the only condition here is that they be from either the south or the center. You know, what could
Yeah.
explain that? What could possibly explain that? And so we know this regime has the intention. We know this regime has the means to carry this demoniac plan out. We know they have done it before. They have the experience to do that. And that's why we are taking them very seriously. And we believe that when they do something, they mean it. And so we are taking them very seriously. And we are telling the Cameroonian people, take this regime seriously. Take this regime seriously. Take Mr. Bia, Mr. Gongo, and all the gang members, take them seriously. So that's what we are saying, and it's going to go through the use of force. In our case, it's a legitimate defense, and we have the right. I'm a citizen of the U.S. and a proud citizen of Texas, and down here we believe in legitimate defense. We believe that if someone gets to your house and tries to kill you, it's your right to kill them first. And so the Cameroonian people is doing just that, and will do what needs to be done.
Are you in communication with some of the military officers on the ground in Cameroon? And what are they saying about this idea?
We are working with some people, I would say. I would
Okay.
just leave it there and say that we have contacts within the army. The officers on the ground are also pissed off because, injustice is so rampant that you don't understand. How can a government supposed to be a government of the people run such injustice and make injustice the rule? How are they planning to do that? So we say no more. It's not going to happen, and they need to step up. And we are telling the international community, if you believe that this is just a Cameroonian thing, you need to think again, because it's not. Mr. Bia is a threat to Cameroonians. He's a threat to the international community. And it needs to be done. This regime needs to step down or be taken out quickly.
I think I agree with you completely. We have been fighting for 9 solid years, and I wish that you in the Francophone territories were doing this then. Who would have squeezed this regime in the middle and kicked them away?
Yep.
Stay put, please. Let me get back to the phones, and let's see a lot of calls here. Hello. Hello.
Yeah. Good evening, Comrade Chris.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from, please? Hello? Where are you calling from?
Texas.
From Texas, okay. What is your contribution, sir?
I heard Mr. Ben Modo talk about Mr. Philemon Young and Mr. Prime Minister, that they are good people. So, if they are good people, why are they still working with this government after so many years? That's why I'm trying to ask him.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for the call. Let's get to the next caller. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Manchester, the UK.
Okay. And what is on your mind, sir? 30 seconds.
Yeah, I just want to say I've listened to that gentleman, and I want to ask him, now is the time for us as a collective people, particularly young people, who are ready to come up to the street and fight. They need to come up and fight. When people are ready to fight, let's do it now. We need to change that country.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the call. Hello.
Yeah, Commander Chris, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Bangui.
Okay. And what is on your mind? 30 seconds.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I want to tell Mr. Ben Mondo, I've been following him up. Let me tell you, Mr. Cristiano, you have a very big fish today. That guy, we should know that that guy is very powerful, Ben Mondo. And I want to believe that through Ben Mondo, we have so many things. I want to encourage him to go ahead and do what he thinks he will do with Issa Churuma for him to liberate La République du Cameroon. Because through Issa Churuma, we believe that there will be a way out through the Anglophone problem. To be honest, you have a very big fish today.
All
Thank
right.
you for inviting him.
All right,
You are
thank
very
you.
powerful. God bless you, Mr. Cristiano.
Thank you, sir. All right. Hello. Hello.
Good evening. Good evening, Comrade Chris.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from La Republic in Yaoundé.
Okay, 30 seconds, sir. What is on your mind?
First of all, I want to appreciate your program, and I want to thank Mr. Ben Momodo for his contribution tonight. I want to ask the question to Mr. Ben. What if maybe apart of all the proposals he has given, maybe the objections that may happen, does he think about a possible coup d'etat that maybe the military can maybe go in for a coup d'etat? That's my question for him.
All right, thank you. Thank you. I will get him back to respond to that later. All right, thanks for the call. Hello.
Good evening, Secretary Chris.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from?
This is Professor Elvis calling from the University of Buffalo, New York.
Okay, what is on your mind, sir? 30 seconds.
All right, I just want to appreciate Professor Ben Modo in the studio, and I just have some few questions for him.
Okay.
At this point in time, I just want to find out from him what are Cameroonians in the diaspora, Cameroonians at home, what are they supposed to be doing right now in preparations for what is to come? And my second question goes thus. What about those who have been fighting in the Anglophone region against the same CPDM government in Yaoundé? What can he say about them? Does he want them to keep on doing what they're doing, hold their ground, or drop down their weapons? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll get back to that, and he will respond. Well, in the absence of a caller now, no, I think there's a caller here. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
When you call, before you call, make sure that the TV in your on your background is shut down, sir. Hello.
Hello?
Hello. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from UK.
Okay, 30 seconds. What is on your mind?
Yes, what I'm just trying to say, I appreciate what the professor is doing. What I appreciate is that we need fight.
We need what? Oh, we lost that caller. All right, let's see. Hello.
Okay, 30 seconds.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, good evening, Comrade Chris.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from Nigeria.
Okay, 30 seconds. What's on your mind?
Yes, I wanted to ask Mr. Ben Modo, does he really think that Anglophones are marginalized? And if Anglophones are marginalized, does he support the Amba struggle?
Good question. All right, thank you for the call. Hello. 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 All right, we lost that caller. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello, Chris.
Hello, sir. Good evening. Where are you calling from?
I am calling from Tico.
Tico. Okay. 30 seconds, sir. What's on your mind?
Thank you very much. I want to appreciate Ben Mondo
for coming to your stage. And secondly, I want to encourage the citizens of La Republic to know that this is time to fight and to liberate Cameroon entirely. And I want to talk to those Ambazonians that are asking if the Southern Cameroonians to do what now. No, I believe that there will be some level of certainty if they come down, they fight and liberate themselves, then Cameroonian is going to have some sort of peace, and some fighters are going to give up. So La Republic should know that it is time for fight and not time for play. It is time for protest and not time for clown. It is time for stage protest continuously.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello?
Hello, where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from the northern zone.
Okay, what is on your mind? 30 seconds.
Yes, Comrade Chris, I want to be very frank with you that I'm so happy tonight to meet Ben Modo. Pardon?
Go on, I'm
I
hearing
want to
you.
be very happy. I'm very happy that I've met Ben Modo. I'm also happy for you, Comrade Chris. People are calling you Comrade. They don't know that you are president. Does Ben Modo also know that you are president?
No, I'm
President
not.
of the Amazonia.
I'm not president. Dr. Epa
I'm
is
so
president.
happy Ben Modo has given hope to Cameroonians. Cameroonians had lost hope, and the talk.
Yes, go on.
Yes, he has given.
Okay, I think we have a network issue there. Let's get to the next caller here. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from UK.
Okay, what is on your mind? 30 seconds.
Yes. I just want to give the professor a small advice. You know, the Biya regime, most of the time when we come out from social media and we give a plan of action, it makes them to target us quickly. We must instead keep it cool, take the action instead of coming to social media and be talking our plan that we are going to do.
All right, thank you for the call.
Yeah.
Thank you for the call. All right, let's see. Hello. Hello.
Hello,
Hello, where are you calling from, ma'am?
I'm calling from the UK.
And what is
Thank
on
you
your
so much.
mind?
Yes, thank you so much for what you're doing. I want to appreciate you and Mr. Ben Modo. I'm praying for his safety, and I pray that he puts everything in place for his safety, because I know that the government has their people around his vicinity. So make sure you take care of your safety. Thank you.
Thank you for the call. You know, if you probably about 40 minutes or so ago, Facebook shut us down, and I know Cameroon is behind that. They have done that again and again and again when and doing shows like this. But YouTube alone is almost 2,000 people, ladies and gentlemen. That is good enough. Now, not counting the millions or the hundreds of thousands watching by way of satellite television. All right, let's to this caller here. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, where are you calling from,
Comrade
sir?
Chris.
Yes, sir. Where are you calling from?
Bamenda, Mezam County.
Okay, calling from Bamenda. What's on your mind? 30 seconds.
Well, yes, I'm happy for you and Mr. Ben Mondo. He says they are arming the people, and his resident is an American citizen, yes?
Yes.
I see they are persecuting some Ambazonians in the United States for arming the Ambazonia fighters here. Would that not be a problem? Will he not also fall into the dark net of the American government, the U.S. government?
Well, I don't know of any Ambazonian leader who has been persecuted in the U.S. Related to arms. So I prefer that we stay away from that. Thank you for the call. Okay. Hello.
Huh?
Hello.
Hey, I'm calling from N'Djamena, Chad. I've been following the program from the beginning.
Following from Chad, are you watching on television or watching on your phone?
I'm watching on my phone.
Okay.
So I've been listening for quite some time since the beginning. I'm very happy that you have Ben Mono who clarified on some things. And listen, I just want to ask this very particular question. Ben Modo has exposed his plan. I would like to know what he has in mind specifically. As someone asked, what do people on the field do to prepare for what is coming? And what is the contact he has with Jean-Pierre Dupont? Thank you.
Okay, Jean-Pierre Dupont. Good, I know him. All right. Let's get this is the last call I'm taking for now, and then I will hand over to Ben to respond. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Chris. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from, please?
Yeah, I'm calling from Minnesota.
Okay, 30 seconds, sir. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I just want to ask Mr. Benmondo if where we can enlist for this fight and rescue Cameroon. That is all what I want, because I'm willing to come down to Cameroon and join the Liberation Force and see that we can rescue the country.
Are you prepared to go back?
Yes, I'm ready. When I get a good connection from all what is going on, I'm willing to come and join the fight. We need to rescue the country. I only know one president since I was born, so that doesn't sit well with my kids. So I need to see how we can join and liberate the country.
All right, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Hello. Hello. All right, we're going to do this. I'm going to have Ben respond to the questions asked, and if there is more time, I will open the phones again, take a few calls before we call it a night. Ben, please, I'm sure you jotted down the questions.
There are a few questions. One of them was, I didn't write down everything. So
those you wrote down, those you can remember, go ahead and respond to them.
So one of them was, what should Amber Boys
What should Cameroonians on the ground be doing now with the action you guys are planning?
Okay, which one should I respond to first?
Anyone. Start with anyone that you can.
Okay, so I'm going to start with someone asked if I believe that Anglophones are marginalized. Yes, they are. Obviously, they are. It's been a nightmare, and I believe that, and I strongly believe that they did the right thing. The Amber Boys did the right thing, because justice strengthens a nation. You cannot be in a nation supposed to be owned by all the people, and then just some of the people have things that other people could not have and cannot have, no matter what they do. You cannot be saying that you live in a country of justice when there is injustice everywhere. Our kids, our brothers, our sisters shouldn't have to pay to get a position, to get into a program. They shouldn't have to pay to get a job. I mean, you are the one to be paid if you do a job. People shouldn't be having or being, they shouldn't be appointed based on the color of their skin or their origin. Where are they coming from? If they are coming from the Nozo region, then that's bad. If they are coming from the South region, then that's good. I'm going to tell you something. I know someone who came back to Cameroon after more than 20 years. The person has a father who is from the center region and a mother. No, the father is from the west region and the mother is from the center region. And when the time came to appoint someone, one of the top people at one of Cameroon's university,
Yeah.
and the reason that was used by the civil cabinet to stop that appointment was that the person was not, pure enough, did not have a pure blood, because for them, they see being, originating from the south or the center as having pure blood. These are the people leading Cameroon as we speak. That shouldn't be allowed. I don't want my kids to live in a country where they will be treated, based on how they look like or where they're coming from. We don't want that. We want a country where if your child is good enough, if your child deserves it, you want your child to get it. Martin Luther says it best, the people should live in a country where they are defined by the content of their character, not their skin, not the color of their skin, not their origin. And this is the reason why it's so important to put this regime down. Because if Cameroonians don't do it, they are gone for another 30 or 40 years. They cannot let that happen. Mr. Biya and his regime are a danger to Cameroonians. They are a danger to the West. They are a danger to humanity. So yes, Anglophones are marginalized. Just look at the distribution of roles. And you will see that. Just look at the way things are being done. I mean, see, if I live in a country where injustice is the rule, well, I know that pretty soon I will be fighting for self-defense. Because all men are created equal, and they are endowed by certain unalienable rights. And among those are the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. People from all ethnic groups have those rights. They have the right to life. They have the right to liberty. They have the right to pursue happiness. It's not just because you're coming from the south or the center. Such a country cannot be and must not be allowed. And Mr. Biya and his regime must know that time's up for them. We cannot allow such a country to continue. And then there was another question, what should Amber Boys do? Well,
no, it was asking what should Cameroonians on the ground
what should
do?
Cameroonians on the ground do?
Yes.
Well, they need to sign up. If you are able to fight, if you are willing to fight, this is the time to do it. And there is a number where you can send your resume, your CV, for us to take a look and see if everything is okay. We run background checks. We have ways of doing that. And once it's done, someone would contact you. So that number is +1 302 400 2775. I'm going to say it again, Chris. +1 302 400 2775. We need your help. The people of Cameroon need your help because this fight is first of all, everyone's business. If you can help, please do not hesitate to help. If you cannot be on the ground, there are other ways to do that. Find out one of those, and please, by all means, help. We cannot allow a group of tyrants to continue to kill people without getting involved. We cannot allow Mr. B.I. and his regime to continue. Now they're planning a genocide.
Yeah.
We are not going to sit back. You shouldn't sit back. You shouldn't.
All right, Ben, please, I'm pleading your indulgence. If you still have a few minutes, let me just take a few calls because the phones are blazing here. I know lots of people want to talk to you. Let's see, please go ahead and call. Go ahead and call. The phone line is open once more, so go ahead and call. All right. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello, Chris.
Hello, sir. Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Bruce calling from Germany. I got 3 questions to Ben Modo. The first question is, does he have any knowledge about Chantal's academic background?
I think you answered that question earlier. I did ask, and you wasn't sure of Chantal's academic background.
Okay. Then let's move to the second question. Does he have an idea about the specific countries where the looted money from Cameroon are being hidden?
Okay.
And third question, would he be willing to work to expose all the financial institutions abroad as well as private properties of all those gangsters in Yaoundé?
That's a good point. All right. Thank you, sir. I will let him answer later. Thanks for the call. Hello. 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 Hello.
Hello, Comrade Chris.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from?
Yeah. Good evening, Chris. I'm calling from Canada. This is Ben calling from Canada.
From Canada. Okay. What's on your mind? 30 seconds, sir. The phones are blazing here.
I wish to congratulate Ben Modo for being your guest for tonight, and to tell him that the edifice that he left over in Garwa is unique.
Okay.
I've seen that structure, and I think that he did a wonderful job there. Good job, Ben Modo.
Okay.
My question to him tonight would be to find out if, in realizing that that project, he had to do what Mononjana called Lomapatisma. Did something go under the table? Secondly, there's a list of possible ministers that will be in place very soon in Cameroon, and Mbondo Ayolo is being moved from the civil cabinet to the Ministry of Mines and Hydrocarbons. This is a new one. What is his take on that? Thank you so very much, Chris.
Thank you for the call. All right. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Where are you calling from, please?
Yes. Good evening, Secretary Chris. I'm calling from Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi. Okay, 30 seconds. What's on your mind?
Yeah, actually,
Secretary, please, I want to ask that after this Chiruma declared 48 hours from the Cameroon government, what next now? What is going to be the next?
That's a good question. I don't have an answer. You know, I don't work for his campaign, right? When I get an idea, I'll let you guys know. Thank you for the call. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from Tennessee.
Tennessee. What's on your mind? 30 seconds.
Yeah, I'm happy to see Ben Models on board. I want to ask him a few questions. Please, could you ask him if they can have a fundraising line so people can help people that cannot fight and be able to help the fighters? You know,
a fundraising line for people who cannot fight back and support. Okay, you will answer that, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Hello.
Yeah, Commander Chris, once more, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from?
Still from Bangui.
Oh, you call back? All right. 20 seconds, sir.
Yes,
20.
I want to ask Mr. Ben. 100,000 guys. Is that true? I saw it from one of his speech in social media, Facebook.
That
100
what?
guys, already armed men. Is that true?
That 100 what?
100,000 guys, 100,000 men. Armed guys. Is that true? As Ben.
All right, you will respond to
You know
that.
what I'm talking
Thanks.
about? 100. He knows what I'm talking about.
You will respond to that. Thanks for calling.
Thank you, sir.
Hello. 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 Hello.
Hello, good evening, Comrade Chris.
Good evening. 30 seconds. Where are you coming from?
I'm still calling from La Republic, from Yaoundé.
Okay.
Yes, I have just a question to Mr. Ben Modo. I want to ask if maybe there's a possibility that Chiroma wins and calls for maybe a negotiation between La Republic and Ambazonia. Will he stand for the separation for us to maybe for the Ambazonians to have their independence?
Good question. Thank you for the call. Hello.
Hey, Mr. Chris.
Yes, so where are you calling from, sir?
Calling from Maryland.
We can hear you. Raise your voice. Calling from where?
Yes, I'm calling from Maryland.
Maryland. 30 seconds.
Yes, sir. Yes. I just want to ask him, is there any way that someone can contribute financially? That's my question for you.
Okay, asking whether there is a way someone can contribute financially, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello. Hello.
Hello, Chris.
Hello, where are you calling from, sir?
I'm calling from the US.
Okay, what's your contribution?
Yes, so my contribution here is I just have a question.
Okay.
With the ultimatum Chiroma sent out giving 48 hours,
Yes?
yes, so would that not be like him trying to play with the population, because we know he's coming from the government and he can say that, so the government goes around and then release those guys and then everything dies down. Will Mr. Ben explain to us if this is not just a game to calm the population and then he gets appointed or given some cash?
All right. I will let him answer that. Thank you, sir. Thanks for calling. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
With the population, because
Yes.
Hello. Hello.
Give me 100 billion 89.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Thank you, Comrade Chris.
Where are you calling
And
from?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah,
Where are
I'm
you calling from?
I'm calling from Ground Zero.
Okay, 30 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. My question is, the program is wonderful, and my problem is, does he not expose himself? I mean, Mr. Ben Mundo, does he not expose himself by giving all these things out? I mean, all this information out, and then
All right.
his plans of action. Will it not jeopardize? Will the Republic people not really disturb or like try to put some hitches to his plans?
All right, I'll let him answer that. Thank you for the call. All right. All right, the last caller here. Let me take this for the last caller. Hello. Hello.
Hello, Mr. Chris.
Hello, sir. Where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from Ground Zero.
What's your contribution?
Yes, I want to also applaud with you that it is because of your relationship with Issa Chiroma Bakari in Bamenda that I think it have a nice lot of support in the Anglophone community. And what becomes tomorrow if Mr. Issa Chiroma decide to make some appeasement and decide to have you as his Minister of Communication? So what will your position be in that situation?
A minister in which country? In the Federal Republic of Ambazonia or in La République du Cameroon?
To bring
You know,
as
Chiroma
part
is
of
not
his
Chiroma is not going to be
Republic of
Chiroma is not
Cameroon.
going to become president of Ambazonia. You know that, right?
Yeah, he might decide to say he's trying to bring like an appeasement, then try to convince you to be his spokesperson and work with him.
No,
You know,
no. We don't become workers in the foreign government. All we are looking for now is a means to sit down and talk with whoever is the leader in that country. We can only discuss about any positions or any deals when the Ambazonian conflict is officially settled, resolved. But for now, forget about that.
Yeah, because you know, I'm in the Libya forum where some pro-regime people are trying to castigate you and try to make you to be like you are a nullity about Libya future. So we want you to be strong with the Ambazonia struggle and come back in.
Hello? Hello. Okay, we lost that caller. But let me.
Are you getting me?
Okay.
Hello?
All right. Round up. Yes.
Yeah.
Go on quickly.
Hello?
Round up. I can hear you. Round up.
I'm saying that I'm in the Libya forum where Foju and some of these CPD militant are trying to say you have no future in Libya. So we pray that you continue to stand strong with the Ambazonian struggle.
But
and if there's this appeasement tomorrow.
Listen. Do you even worry when you hear from people like Foju, Tarsong, and all those funds and all those chiefs? Do they even matter? If they really matter, won't they be going back to their towns and villages, visiting their people and going back? I thought Foju told the BLM people that the road from the BLM, from Chang to the BLM has been tarred, isn't it? But I have seen videos coming from the BLM, nobody can get there, not even through Okada. And he has been a parliamentarian for, since when? I think probably about going to 20 years. So listen, when people like that criticize me, they are non-entities, they are irrelevant. Their time will come when they will answer for enslaving the people of the BLM. So if they listen to me, I want them to know I don't need validation from any of them. Nothing, zero. They are non-entities. Thank you for the call. All right, Ben, all right, please, I give you 2 minutes or so, round up, and let's call it a night, sir.
All right, Chris. So the first question I wrote down was, where's the money? Where's the money hidden? Well, we know some of the places, so that is an effort that will be made to make sure that the funds return to Cameroon. Now, the second question was the gangsters' properties. Do we know where the gangsters' properties are?
Yes, yes.
Yes. We have that information. Maybe not fully.
Not all, yeah.
We have a good portion of that. The third question was, were bribes paid in Garwa? No, they were not, because the U.S. embassy negotiated the contract, and then we had to do it that way. Otherwise, the Chinese would have won that contract. So number 4, the list of a new government. What are my thoughts on the list of the new government? I have nothing to say about that. As far as we are concerned, this government is out, and it's just a matter of weeks to make sure that it's gone. And so whatever their plans are, says nothing to us. They need to go. Time is up, and we will make sure that they are gone within the next few weeks. Number 5, the fundraising line, and that's with question number 8, the financial contributions. Well, there are ways. Let me just give you my number.
Ben, text me the number you would love others to have. Text it to me, and we will get it out before this show runs out.
Okay, so let me just quickly text it to you before I
all right.
I go on.
Now you put out that number, you should be ready to pick the calls because they will rain in.
All right, so I just sent it to you.
Okay.
Then the next one was, is it true for the 100,000 soldiers already in place? No, we don't have 100,000 people yet. We have about 10,000. The target, though, is to have 400,000. But with 10,000, we will do what needs to be done. We are counting that many people will join us as we move forward. Number 7, negotiation about Amazonia. I guess this question asks if I would support the negotiation with Amazonia.
If
this
you support a negotiation that leads to Amazonia becoming its own country.
Yeah, I mean, Amazonia used to be its own country. So that has to be very clear. And then 2 countries came together to form one country. And there was a deal. If I have an agreement with you and we have a contract, and I don't keep part of my word, or you don't keep your word, each of us has the right to denounce that contract. So there was, they had 2 countries before. The 2 countries decided to come together. And coming together means that as they decided to come together, each of them may say, okay, listen, we no more find ourselves in a good position in this relationship. It's just like a marriage.
Right.
If two people who loved each other came together, there could be a point where they say, "Oh, uh, this thing doesn't work for us," and they can part ways normally.
Right.
And I believe that Ambazonia has that right, and on the other side, the eastern part of Cameroon has that right too.
Correct.
So no one should try to stop the other from doing what they believe is right, especially after 43 years
Right.
of what we just saw. If the two countries are willing to work something out based on a new understanding, uh, I would encourage that. I would encourage Amazonia and Cameroon to come together and say, okay, listen, Paul Biya was a mistake of history in Cameroon. He destroyed a country that was meant to live in peace and prosperity. So, if that's the case, the two countries can now come together and decide for themselves. This will be a new negotiation to say, okay, how do we do this? It's just like it's done in business. To me, it makes complete sense. And I believe that's the approach that has to go. I believe that no matter the case, power should be close to the people. I believe that even the regions in Cameroon currently should be allowed to become states, should have more power. How is it possible that in a country you have a handful of people deciding for everyone? If there is a road that has to be constructed somewhere in the far north, someone in Yaoundé has to decide that. What the heck? How are they doing it? They need
Let me share a short story here to confirm what you are saying there about the government. Some few people sitting in Yaoundé and deciding whether people live or die or if there is electricity or not. The BLM people in the diaspora, I think they bought two caterpillars, shipped home, and they hope to renovate, upgrade the road from Chang to the BLM through to Mamfe. And guess what happened? Once the caterpillars got there, the regime in Yaoundé said only the government can fix roads.
What?
Can you believe that? Only people have sent two caterpillars from the U.S. to kind of uplift the standards of living for their people, give access to their people. The government that isn't doing it says, no, you can't do it. Only the government can do it.
I mean, this is wrong, Chris. This is wrong, and it should not be done. And I'm saying Cameroon just went through the biggest nightmare you can imagine, and I believe it's high time we put an end to it. And I believe that justice, must reign again. And the two countries should come together, decide for themselves what they want to do, and that would be my advice. For Mr. Chiroma, and I'll strongly support that. The next question says, okay, Chiroma's call for a ghost town or protest.
The question was whether, don't you think Chiroma is just wasting time trying to get something negotiated with the government to go back to government?
Well, I used to believe that. I don't believe that right now, simply because I've seen him close, and I've seen his thought process, and I really believe this is a man who wants it. This is a man who understands the urgency of the moment, and I believe that he's willing and he's ready to do that. However, when it comes to prisoners being released, whether the prisoners are released or not really does not concern us. That's a political thing. They will handle that with President Chiroma. As far as we are concerned, we understand that there is a genocide in preparation in Cameroon. and releasing a few prisoners will not stop that preparation. That's number one. Number two, we saw, the Cameroonian people saw what happened on October 12th. And we all know who won that election, and it's Mr. Chiroma. In a country that has justice, the winner should be allowed to become president. And that's what's going to happen. And so whether they release a few prisoners or not, I mean, we are really not concerned by that. Two things. First one, the genocide must stop. And then number two, Mr. Chiroma should be allowed to run the country. And then the last question was, if I'm not afraid, he's not afraid to be, he's exposing himself by exposing the plans.
Yeah. You really don't need to answer that.
We chose a simple approach. We are not rebels. We are simply saying that whether you are an American, a Frenchman, a British guy, you have the right to legitimate defense. If that simple principle is understood and allowed and accepted by the whole world, then the conclusion must be that since Cameroonians are also human beings, they have the right for legitimate defense. And it's on the basis of that we are saying, hey, we have someone come to a house, someone comes to your house, he's trying to kill you. You are not going to ask the neighbor what you should do. You should defend yourself first. Otherwise, you won't be able to even ask the neighbor for anything else. And that's the situation Cameroonians are in right now. They have an obligation to defend themselves. They have an obligation to protect their families. So this is about human rights, the right to defend yourself. And that's what's at stake. And that's the reason why we are saying and doing what we are saying and doing, knowing that we are in the right. This is not a rebel group. No one should be allowed to kill millions of people simply because they have guns, simply because they have money, simply because they are in power. That should not be allowed, not in Cameroon, not in Africa, not elsewhere. That's where we stand, and we will do what needs to be done for the people of Cameroon. The last time an African country waited for someone else to intervene, 1 million people died in 100 days. We are not going to let that happen this time.
All right, Ben, this has been a marathon. I really want to appreciate you stepping out to answer some of these questions. I hope that going forward, we would be able to sit down and have a chat and see what we can do. Thank you for showing up, sir.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that will be it for the night. I hope you stay put, you get glued to the TV set. If you are watching by satellite television from anywhere in Africa, remain glued. And if you missed it, we will rebroadcast this on television. If you didn't watch it on Facebook or YouTube, you can always go back there and watch it anytime, any hour. But then I will be back tomorrow, and I look forward to coming here with updates of what is going on in Ambazonia and in La République du Cameroon. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and good night.
ABS can help you reach your target audience like never before. Advertising on ABS, you'll benefit from our extensive reach and dedicated viewership. We offer special advertising packages during primetime slots and popular shows. He'll also be featured on our social media platforms, reaching an even wider audience. Don't miss out on this opportunity.